Hello. Okay, I'm gonna attempt to make a video on how to make those barriers that I was making. They come out to about $10-ish. I think that was without this roller Gorilla tape, which I already had at home. So you're looking at, for 8 tables with the Gorilla tape, maybe about $85, $86. And that, again, that's there's 8 tables in the elementary art room, so that's how many I bought supplies for. Things like this, you get 10 of these 90-degree angles for like $2 or something. I think they're like 23 cents each if you need less than that. So some materials. If you have a saw, great. If you don't have a saw, I suppose you could always do it by hand. Same with, the drill. I don't know what everybody has at home. So hopefully it's easy enough. It's mostly things that you could do by hand if you wanted to. Also, please excuse the mess in my garage. We've had a lot of flooding. And so we kind of just throw everything up against the walls and hope that it doesn't get wet. And I haven't had time to clean everything out since then. So I also wasn't really planning on having to make a bunch of barriers for kids to not cough on each other. So anyway, let's get started. Here are our 10-foot sections. You measured the tables in the art room, and they are about 6 feet. I think. You also have to, if you're looking for 6 feet or whatever you're looking for, keep in mind that on your 90 degrees, you're going to lose an inch here, but you're going to gain an inch right here. So, when I'm looking to cut these to 6 feet, I suppose I should move the camera so you can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. So 72 inches, but you're actually going for 70 inches because you're going to have 2 inches from your 90-degree elbows. So I usually just do 1, and then to line all these up, you can do them all at the same time. Okay, you're going to want to save at least 2 of these, depending on the height of your barrier. I made mine 24 inches. I don't know. I just figured a kid sitting at a small desk probably isn't going to be much higher than that. So you could make them as high as you want. 24 inches also happens to work out well with the plastic that I bought, though. So I guess you can decide whatever you're going to do. Anyway, so let me clear out this table and then we'll show you what we're doing with these. All right, we've got a heat gun. These are cut to just under 6 feet. These are going to be used later. Probably could have cut them when I was cutting before, but we'll do things one at a time here. I should also apologize in advance for the amount of ums that I say. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't do this kind of stuff, so I tend to just mumble a little bit. Usually I have the radio going and nobody can hear me. So what I'm looking to do here is divide these in half and then 1 inch on either side. So half of 70 is 35. Here is the middle. Make sure that's in frame here. And then 1 inch on either side. And I'm going to do that to all of these. So again, you can cheat by lining them all up and just kind of eyeballing it. I doubt your kindergarten through 4th graders are going to notice if you're off by a little bit. That one looks like it's off by a little more than a little bit, but that's okay. Just kind of roll them back and forth, and they'll start to get really, really hot, so you don't want to touch them. I have a piece of wood, just a scrap wood that I've cut, that is slightly bigger than the 2 inches that I have marked here. And the idea is that we're going to flatten that so that we can put a screw through it into a piece of wood. That way we don't have to use the more expensive 5-way PVC connectors, which saves us quite a bit of money. You do want to be a little bit careful heating these up because they'll start to get like droopy, like this. You see it bending? They'll also bend side to side. You don't want them to bend side to side or they're not going to line up with the corners of your table. That's probably pretty good. So now the idea is we give them a little bit of space, and we take this board and we're just gonna flatten them out. And you leave a little bit of space because they are going to pinch together right there. I was sitting on these before, so I'm just gonna try to push this down. This one's rising up, so you want to push it down, make sure they're flat. It's easier if you're doing it on your floor because you can just sit or stand on it. And then I have a spray bottle here because if you give it a little squirt of cold water, it just helps it cool down a little bit faster. There's actually, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's smoke coming off of there right now. I'm not really using safety first here. If you are concerned about melting PVC, which is not exactly the healthiest thing to do, it's not like I'm breathing it in, but you could always put on a mask. I have my garage door open, so there's quite a bit of ventilation in here with, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a fan in the back going because we have so much water that we're trying to get rid of some of the humidity. So flip it over, spray the back, and just kind of sit on that or push on that for a little bit. What'll happen if you let up too easy, or too soon rather, the shape of the pipe will actually come back. So if you let up on this, it'll start to rise like this one is doing a little bit. I don't know if you can see the difference here, but one of those is much skinnier than the other one. It doesn't really matter. You're just looking for a flat surface to put a screw in. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other ones as well, these two, and then I'll see you when that is finished. One thing I forgot to mention at the beginning when I was going through supplies is this middle piece of wood. This is 2x2. I think it was like $3 maybe. I thought about getting wooden dowels because then it'd be round and it would match the PVC pipe, but those were $3 a piece for 4 feet. And this is, actually it might have been $4, I don't remember. And this is like $2 or $3 for 8 feet. So you can get 4 of them out of this one piece here. So I'm gonna cut this into 24-inch sections, and that'll give me enough for 4 of these. I just bought the cheapest pack of leg screws. You could probably use any screw, but the reason I went with these specifically is so that I could put a washer. These are 1/4 inch leg screws, washers. These are 2 inches, by the way. And the idea is that this will hopefully keep it from cracking the plastic when you drill this in. So in order to keep it from splitting your wood, you're going to want to drill, and don't be fooled by what your drill bits say. You don't actually want a 1/4 inch bit, because that's going to make this slide right in. It's not going to make it grip. So you want it just a little bit, whatever the size is, down from that. I'm not sure what this one is, but it's very, very close. It's just a tiny bit smaller. This one is already split, so be careful. So now we have a hole on either end, and what we're going to do next is drill into our cross pieces here. So we don't have a lot of room on this table, but the idea is you're going to form an X. My tables in the art room are a little bit longer. They're rectangular, so I just kind of line these up as if they were going to be a rectangle here. And then you are drilling through this one and the one beneath it. If you care about what's underneath, you might want to put like a board or something under there. Otherwise, you can just don't drill all the way through. And you can do it that way. So this is just small enough that the screw won't go through here, and that's what you're looking for. It will go through when you use, you know, the drill to make it go. So I'm going to do that now. I haven't done it up here before, so this is going to be interesting. Let me get, maybe I'll do it on the floor. I think that'll be easier to show you. So we'll tilt you guys down at my messy floor. Again, don't judge. Art teachers are dirty, right? Isn't that like, that's a thing? Unorganized. All right, so what you're doing is you're taking this piece and you're actually flipping it upside down, and you're going to balance that on there so that you can take your next one and lay it on top. And then you want your screw here, and you can start to thread it by hand if you can't get it to stay. Otherwise, just hold it. And then the bottom's gonna spin, so you want to hold this board, pinch it with your feet. Don't go too tight, or you will stress and crack the size of your plastic. I don't think it's a huge deal. I did that to one of mine, and it's still holding up fine. So now what you're going to do is flip this upside down and do the same thing on the other side here. Make sure I get this where you can see it. Okay, that's the basics. Let me clear off the table here so you can see what it looks like. And this is what you should have so far. And again, the bonus of not using that cross piece of PVC, the 5-way connector, besides that it's expensive, is that this allows you to, if you have a longer or a shorter table, you can move this to make it square, rectangular, whatever the shape is that you need it to be. It does get a lot sturdier once you put on the corner pieces. So what I'm going to do now is cut the 24-inch pieces, but it's actually 22 inches because, again, you're gaining an inch for each of these. So if you want 24 inches, you got to subtract 2 inches, and that's what I'm going to measure these two and cut. Next step is to put on your 90-degree pieces and give this thing some stability. So you could just use your hands. I use a little mallet. And you're putting one on each corner. I didn't glue any of mine. That way, if I need to make changes for whatever reason, somebody breaks something or I measured wrong, then I don't have to worry about it. But you could make it a lot stronger if you put some PVC cement on it. Okay, and that is the harder part. Everything else is plastic and tape, so we'll do that next. All right, this is 4mm sheet of plastic. You get it by the painting section at Menards, and I looked at shower curtains. Light shower curtains are about the same thickness, or not, whatever the protective part of your shower curtain is, the shield part. Medium ones weren't much thicker, and they were like $5 or $6 a piece, and then the heavy duty ones were like $10 or $12 a piece, and I would have needed like 5.5 in order to cover all 8 of my tables. So since I have 8 tables that I have to do, I went with this. This is 8 feet this way by 25 feet this way. So if you cut it in 6-foot sections going this way, you should get 4 sheets, so enough to do 2 of the things that we have made, and then multiply that, so you've got 6, 12, 18, 20. So you got 4 times 4 there, I believe. I don't do math. I think that's what it is. Okay, so we're looking for 6 feet here, and we're just going to mark that with our marker. Oh, and I don't know if my table is long enough. Again, I was doing this on my living room floor earlier, so let's see. There's 6 feet right here. Okay. And slide that over. Could really use a better tape measure because this one bends all the time. Okay. So let's, normally I would draw a line, but because I'm doing it in the garage, this table has lines on it, so I'm just going to line those dots up with the line on here so that I know I'm getting a straight cut, or close enough anyway. Okay, ours was 24 inches high, so we're going to go for 24 inches here. And that is right there. And the nice thing about this being folded is it has all these creases in it, which at first was kind of annoying, but what you can do is just kind of eyeball. You know, this is what, a centimeter away from where that crease is, and then you don't have to worry about measuring everything. So let's cut this off. Oh, my scissors are a little bit sticky there because I was cutting Gorilla Tape, and that stuff is like my favorite. I use it for everything. Okay, I found that it was easiest to hang up one side first, all the corners and stuff. I also, the first one I made, I had too much on this side and too much on this side, and so when I tightened it all down, it actually pulled away from the centerpiece here, and it required me to. That's why I ended up getting the Gorilla Tape, was to fix that. So what I recommend is having extra in the middle and less on the side. So I'm going to take a piece of tape here. Just kind of make sure that you cut it to the right length before you tape it on. And I'm lining up. Can you guys see that? I gotta check my GoPro here. Yeah, I think you can. I'm lining up the edge of the plastic with the edge of here. Something like that. Also, this has all kinds of sawdust and things from my garage sticking to it because of the static in here. The ones that I had done before this were not nearly as dirty. So maybe pick a cleaner spot to work on these. Or just wipe them down. I guess that'll be a good test of whether or not they're washable. Is if I can't even get sawdust off of them, how am I going to get, you know, potentially COVID off of them? So watch, now you guys are going to come into the art room and see that these are still covered with sawdust, and you're going to judge me. next part is just doing the edges here. You could do them, you know, vertically, but I just find it easier to do it this way. But it's the same process. You're just putting the tape about halfway on the plastic, getting it to stick. Sometimes pinch underneath, and then just kind of pulling it taut. Try to get rid of as many wrinkles as you can. That way the kids can still see each other. Of course, in an art room with paint and scissors and things, who knows if anybody will still see each other. It could be completely covered with paint, or it could have windows with scissors. Okay, now comes my least favorite part. And that's just because I don't like mine to be all flappy in the middle. Have it spread the way that you put the plastic on. So plastic's on this side and the plastic is on that side. It's not, you know, if I had worked on it this way and, you know, the plastic would be on this side. So what you're doing here is pushing your plastic towards the middle, and it's pretty windy since my garage door is open, so hopefully this works. But basically you're just taping the plastic to here. The reason I do it this way, this is a complete barrier on this side, so the student sitting over here should be okay. The student sitting across over here is okay. There's a complete barrier. There is obviously a gap right here and right here from these two students, but those students are also the ones that are sitting the furthest away. The tables are 6 feet, so if they're sitting, you know, that's from the edge of the table. So assuming that they're sitting in their chair, they're technically a little bit more than 6 feet. And then the two who are on the sides, who are, I don't know, 3.5 feet from each other, have a complete barrier. So I don't know how well this is going to hold up, because it doesn't, Gorilla Tape sticks better than any other tape that I've used, but nothing likes to stick to this plastic very well. So I don't know. We'll see how it works. I guess it's the thought that counts, right? So I'm putting it, I don't know, 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit less than 1/2 inch. And I'm really pinching it onto that wooden hole in the middle. And then what I'm gonna do is push this plastic onto this piece here. And I am going to awkwardly get on this table because, again, I've been doing this on the living room floor. It's a lot easier. So, peel this piece of tape back. I hope you can see that and you're not just getting a view from behind here. And give yourself enough plastic on the other side too. But basically you're pinching this side and this side together in order to get a pretty good seal there. I'm sure it's not perfect, but it's the best we can do. So there you go, and that, you know, that makes a barrier. So now on this side, you got to do the same thing. And again, just a little bit sticking to the wood. You try not to get it to stick to the plastic right now. Pinch it on there real good. And then fold it back so you can get that plastic right up against there. And there you go. That should hold. If you're worried about it, I've been just because I have the extra tape, I've been then putting a piece in the middle to hold these two pieces on a little bit better. I don't think this part is necessary. So if you don't have a giant roll of tape, you can save a couple of bucks by not doing this extra step here. And there you go. And then on the other side, it's the same process. So I'll do that real quick. Fast forward again. Okay, and there you go. That is one completed barrier. So, you know, again, it's movable. You know, if you want it to be more square or more rectangular. The little nut or the cap of the screw does make it a little bit wobbly. So I don't know, I kind of thought when I put it in my classroom, I'll probably take a little bit of tape and just put it on the side where the plastic isn't. You've got, you know, an area where you could put a piece of that Gorilla Tape and just really get it to, if you're like me and you want it to be right up with the corner like that, you could probably tape that on, and then it wouldn't be moving at all. It's not perfect, but it's the best I could come up with for the, you know, the cheapest solution. I'm sure there's probably other people that have them out there. I honestly just made this up. I never looked at anything, so if there is a better one, maybe take a look just to see. But you know, it comes out to again about $86 or so, with the Gorilla Tape included there then, and I get, you know, 8 of these, and I got you know, a whole bunch of leftover. These are all the pieces that would be cut into the vertical supports. So maybe if you went in with another teacher, you could share or something. Or if your tables aren't 6 feet, the problem is that they sell that PVC in, I think, 10-foot lengths, and I need 6 feet length, you know, diagonal here. So if you made yours 5 foot, if you have smaller tables, then you could get two pieces of PVC would get you an entire setup here. You know, so anyway, enough rambling. I'll see you guys when the school year starts. Good luck.